So this is gonna be the first video for the Just Manga series, and fittingly, the first manga I'm gonna review is the Bakemonogatari manga version. Um, if you haven't been on this channel like a couple times before, or like if you see some of my older videos, you might have guessed that I'm just huge simp, massive fan for this work of fiction called Monogatari, literally meaning story. It's written by Nishio Ishin. It's a light novel series going on for quite a while. I think from 2009, and just I didn't read the novel series. It's been adapted by Studio Shaft uh, into an animation or an anime, and I've watched all of it. I've yet to make a video on it because it's kind of hard to, you know, condense all my feelings I have for that amazing show into just 15 minutes. And I could rant all of the time about it, but I'm just gonna keep it in because I'm like, how do I fit that in? Anyways, once a couple like months ago, I found out. Oh, more to be exactly, ever since I saw the Studio Shaft's preview, like the promotional video for the the manga series. Ever since I saw that video, I realized, well, it worked. I now know there's a manga now. Thanks Shaft, and it looked gorgeous. They brought in like the original voice actresses for the recordings of the preview. The art looked gorgeous. It's like it was so like it was a preview for a manga and it was well animated. It looked beautiful. I was instantly hooked and I was like, I need to get that. I need to get that in like some way. And I recently acquired every single currently translated into Korean because, well, getting Japanese books here is like a nightmare, and getting English books more is even more of a nightmare. And yeah, I got it for it was used, but it's basically like new. Like as you can see, there's nothing really wrong with this, and basically everything is like the same quality. It came in like a vinyl packaging. It was perfect. The only like one thing I had was one nitpick I had was like there was one like in the other covers, number 9. If you see here, the covers are whack. It's like boiled out over here in number 9. But then that's basically the only like nitpick I had. It's not like physically damaged or anything. So great, thank you, seller. I forgot your name. And yeah, I just fell in love with it. It's so good. Like it's just first of all, the art. The art was the first thing that really pulled me because like what else would is there something that gives you more if you're reading the same story but in just a different format? And the biggest reason why I picked up the manga was, well, just look at this cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so I was like, I need to get it. It looks amazing, and it does. Like, it's like just like it's sort of this is the first book, and then the art does get a lot better in like the future, but it's pretty good into my standards, and it's just really good. Monogatari fun. It's exactly the same story, but just some parts like added, and some parts excluded for later parts. The biggest difference, I should say, is the first servant of Kisha, Arcelia, Heart Under Blade, if you know what I'm talking about, um, is mentioned way more quicker than the anime. I'm not sure about the original novels, but yeah, it's they're mentioned way more quicker. And Haneko's arc, first arc, so Tsubasa Cat in the original Bakemonogatari series, that's pushed back a bit, and instead after um freaking whoosh Naruto Snake, after Naruto Snake, it's immediately into Kizumonogatari, and also Kizumonogatari, and even then they mentioned the first servant way more in detail. So basically, they're combining Orimonogatari in the future with Kizumonogatari, and uh, yeah, you must be it must I must sound crazy, but yeah, that's the biggest difference if you know what I'm talking about with the manga and the anime. Now, uh, apart from the art, what the original, what the manga gives more compared to the anime, and is these short stories at the end. They're like a chapter long, and they're technically not canon, but they're it's Nishio Ishin wrote it for the celebration for each volume. And so because there are 14 volumes, I read 14 chapters worth of short stories. And if they're if those short stories are anything like the original novels, I'm willing to like buy those original novels and read all of them, because even the short stories, these short interactions with these characters, they're so good, and it's really what sells the show. Like the manga, like I'm praising it because mostly because of the art, because the story is already well established in like the novel or the anime. The story is great, the interactions with characters are great, and the manga basically gets that story and just perfectly tells it. Um, with again with in my opinion, great art. Like it's not the best art, but it's pretty good. Um, and again, the art gets really better, so don't feel too um, put off by the first few volumes. I think it really picks off from uh, uh, Mayo Snail, like the main parts. It's like when stuff actually like gets drawn, and uh, it's just like way more stuff in it. Again, just like way more filled out. Characters are more look like they're more like their anime counterparts, and oh, this whole full pages are amazing in this manga. It's so good. Anyways, in my opinion, some of the best well drawn stuff were the rainy devil fights. That arc was so well illustrated. It's perfect. And yeah, if you're a Monogatari fan, definitely gonna recommend. Even if you're not a Monogatari fan, I still recommend the manga because it's probably more easier in my opinion to get into than the anime. Even though I think the anime still did a way better job because the voice acting and the music just like makes the whole experience more feel like you're watching a Monogatari show. Uh, Currently, I think in Japan there's like up to volume 17, but the Korean translation versions are up to episode 4, volume 14, and it ends off right before like the final Ochino moment from the Kizumomote, like at the very end. Um, which is kind of sad, but as a person who knows the entire story, it's so far it's told beautifully. Like it definitely helps knowing the story before you're reading it, because you understand all the in jokes, you understand all the innuendos, and for me it's kind of like rewatching the anime, but in like a different medium, and so I remember the stuff like that I forgot maybe, and uh, I know it's not well translated. Monogatari itself doesn't really translate well to other languages other than the original Japanese. But if you have any interest in the language itself, please at least uh, watch it, because watching it will be easier. I saw the English sub, so I know the reading it will be might be a little hard, but definitely it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the money. It's definitely worth the wait. The English version is right now, a couple like weeks ago, the volume 13 released. So it's a bit behind, but you know, definitely give it a shot. Um, yeah, I just hope more people know about Monogatari, and I think the manga is a perfect entry point to one of the best stories I think I ever made. So look out for this. Um, that's all I have to say about it. I'm not gonna really go into like this intricate details of like the manga and like stuff like that, because I want you to listen to herself and future me read it again. Um, and also just the story part is just the original anime, and I'm gonna talk about that anyways in the future. So basically the only thing I can really talk about other than the story is the art and just how well it's adapted. I feel like it's amazing adaptation. Um, Amazing art in my opinion. I do think the anime is a bit better, but still the manga is amazing. My little brother is reading it too, and he definitely says it's kind of hard to read because of all the like unimportant like scenes that come out and all the tangents they go on. But then it's just that's the original anime too, and in my opinion as a Monogatari fan, I'm used to seeing unexpected and unrelated scenes coming up, and that's just even better for me. And so just go with an open mindset and kind of focus on the story rather than focus on each panel. It's definitely a journey, and I do still recommend Monogatari, the manga, but also if the manga isn't really for you, please give the anime one more chance, and then you can say like I don't like it or I love it. And thanks. I think that's it. I'm gonna go record another video on Shinibyo.